Shabbat Shalom. It's great to be together this Shabbat. As we all know, a difficult time for the world, challenges for our nation, concerns, and deep ones for the Jewish people. That sadness in our Amunah family. And so we need to grab hold of every moment. And so this one is very special, that we can affirm life, l'chaim. And so we wish a mazel tov to the Lawrence family, their extended family, to Bobby and Julie, to Norma. It's great to have smachot. And as I did earlier, I welcome my Israeli family. Also want to welcome one of my fraternity brothers from Colombia, Adam Tovim. The wife Laura, it's great to have you here on this Shabbat as well. So here's one of my joyful moments this summer as we have this joyful Shabbat. I was able to move dressers, bookcases, and tables from my garage in Lexington all the way down to my daughter Talia's new apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's really not that impressive. I thought you would be like, Rabbi, yeah, thank you. I thought everyone was going to be like, Rabbi, why is this a big deal? You moved a few pieces of furniture. But I want to just explain that I didn't grow up learning how to do anything. I grew up in an apartment building where if anything happened, you picked up the phone and called maintenance, and they changed the light bulb, whatever it was. It's no joke, as I said to Bobby earlier. There was something I learned, which is how to make phone calls, which turned out is useful in my job and in life. And if you think it wasn't impressive, it was an old rotary phone with a dial, and you had to turn it. And if it was a zero, it was a very long time you had to wait. The 7th graders, now 8th graders, are looking at me like, what are you talking about? Anyway, back to my big accomplishment. I wanted to get the furniture delivered without any damage. And so I had to figure a lot of things out. How to take out the middle seats from the minivan. Those are heavy. Those are definitely heavy. I bought those special moving blankets like the professional movers had. And I attached them with jumbo green rubber bands. I was so excited. I bought a ratchet set so I could ratchet everything down. And I watched the YouTube video like 20 times until I learned how to get the ratchet set and tie it all down. It was very exciting for me. Maybe not as exciting for all of you who are like, this guy really doesn't know how to do anything. It's fine. I couldn't carry the furniture because it was too heavy, so I tilted it into my old Radio Flyer red wagon and then pulled that out to the minivan and tilted it back in. But I felt so proud at the end. I did it. I got the furniture. Oh, come on. They're like, come on. I've even you guys have built IKEA bookcases. I would look at them like, Bobby, where are you? But in any case, our Torah reading this morning is part of a long series of speeches by Moses. And if you think, sometimes a rabbi speaks for a long time, you've seen nothing. Moses went on for like 6 hours. Yeah, it's true. He's on the eastern side of the Jordan River, right where Jordan is today. The people are about to enter the land of Israel, and Moses knows he's not going to cross over with them. It's an intense moment, and as Elad said in his insightful Dvar Torah, he gives them a pep talk. He is the coach cheering on the sideline, but he's not able to get on the field and actually continue the play and go with his team. He warns them about doing the wrong things and encourages by reminding them to continue to do good and that there will be good that comes from staying on the right path. He tells the story warning them of misdeeds. He reminds them when they broke the covenant with the golden calf, clearly a low point. But in the end, he's trying to also paint a positive picture, a future that he won't be a part of, but that the people will take on when they get to Israel. What does he say? When you have eaten your fill, they were all farmers, and you have built fine houses to live in, and your herds and flocks have multiplied, and your silver and gold has increased, and everything you own has prospered. Beware, lest your heart grow haughty, and you forget Adonai your God, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage, and you say to yourself, my own power, my own hands have won all of this wealth for me. Moses said, when you think you did it all, take it easy. Don't get carried away with yourself. No one is an island. Each of us has people around us. They may be friends. They may be family. They may be community. They may be our entire society with the infrastructure we take for granted, like roads. But all of that surrounds us. When we come up with an ingenious idea, almost always others are involved in success. I'm thinking about raising a child. No one raises a child alone, right? There's an African proverb that says, it takes a village to raise a child. And so we're taught by the Torah to sort of make sure we understand and how to approach our own accomplishments with a sense of humility. Now, this gets expanded by the psalmist in the Psalm 146 we recite every morning. Don't put your trust in those who see themselves as great, in mortals who cannot save you. They're human beings. They're not the ultimate power either. Moses, and later in Jewish history, the prophet Samuel warns us about people who think it's all about themselves. You know, there are kings of Israel, but at the same time, the Torah and the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, is very ambivalent. There's a tendency for kings and those in power to grab too much for themselves, to be too full of themselves. I love one of the commentators, Ibn Ezra, a Spanish commentator from the 12th century. He says on these words, quote, "You will forget that you were once a slave," right? That your heart was downcast. You will forget the affliction and hunger you experienced in the wilderness, and even so, Adonai has sustained you. He comments on these words that if you think everything is about you, then you will forget actually those who really don't have a lot. He's commenting on two Hebrew words, viram livavecha. What is your lave? Your heart. And ram, like the word Camp Ramah, what is Ramah? High up, high or exalted. And so the Torah says, viram livavecha. Your heart is going to grow big. Now, at first, this sounds great. You want your heart to be big. But actually, when your heart grows big, it's like you're only, yourself. The Torah in Hebrew are so descriptive. Imagine your chest puffed out. You're all full of yourself. And that word describes someone who is unable to see others because their chest is so puffed out. I think Moshe is very prescient. As we look around the world, we see people who are really only full of themselves. We see it around the world, in the U.S., in Israel. They put the needs of themselves over the needs of others. I'm thinking sadly about even the Israeli prime minister, who seems unable to put together a peace deal. And I'm not saying it's all on him. Obviously, we're dealing with Hamas, a terrorist group. But he has to realize that we have these families of the hostages, and they should be prioritized. Now, this term, virama levavecha, your heart is full, contrasts with someone whose heart is small in the tradition's mind. If your heart is small, you're contracting yourself to think of others. Now we are then, as Ibn Ezra told, taught to go back to Egypt. When were we the most downcast? When we were all slaves in Egypt. And to think about that time and time again, right? We are taught that that is something we need to remember every day, which inspires humility and then inspires acts of kindness towards others. Sometimes we forget to do that. We forget that we're all in this world together. The great British modern rabbi and writer Jonathan Sacks explained the same verse this way. He says, quote, God's word is like rain in a dry land. It brings life. It helps things grow. There's much we can do on our own accord. We can plow the earth and plant the seeds, he writes, but in the end, our success depends on something beyond our control. If no rain falls, there will be no harvest, whatever preparations we make. So it is with Israel, he concludes. Israel, the Jewish people, must never be tempted into the hubris of saying, my own power and strength of my hands have produced all that I have, all the blessings I have, all the wealth that I have. As I was listening to some of the speeches this week, I was, of course, attracted to Governor Josh Shapiro because he's Jewish. His brother is the son-in-law of Hal and Sandy Miller Jacobs, members of Emunah, so I consider him a member of the shul. I did ask him to pay dues. He said no, but that was fine. I was inspired by his words where he said and reminded us of the American statement that appears on our U.S. coins, E pluribus unum. This is the nation's seal. Out of the many, one. It's not merely a motto of our past, he said, but it's a direction for our future. You see, and everyone gives us hope. Each and every one of you, everyone in our community, everyone in this country, and I would say everyone in the world. Judaism reminds us it's not just about me, not just one, but all of us. Let's take that message forward as we move through this difficult time. Shabbat Shalom.